All right, everybody. It is 1 o'clock p.m. and it's time for the Sunday Hangover live stream. And once again, it's me. It's that VINCE. I see you out there, Psycho. How you doing? Of course, some people are still drifting in. What happened was, and I put in the community board of the live stream, but for some odd reason, YouTube sometimes sets my live streams as private. I mean, who in the world has a private live stream? I could get a members only type thing, but I don't have a membership program through YouTube. So we're going to wait a little bit, about a couple minutes, for everyone to drift in. And we got Greg Doucette's video to review. We might catch up with Tiger Fitness's video as well. It just really depends because, it is an hour show after all. So afterwards, I got to, get a shave and, do some other activities, folks. Got to get the head shaved as well, And I do have some other videos to make for my other channel. But of course, since it is the hangover and I don't really have too much of a hangover, but in any event, every single Sunday, I do have a Bloody Mary with a little bit of purity vodka. Now, I'm using Bartender's Bloody Mary mix this time. It's a little watery, but actually I like it. I like it a little bit better than the other, the Charleston Bloody Mary mix. This goes down a lot more smoother, actually. Yeah, the bell didn't ring because my live stream was listed as private. I'm like, why in the world would I have a private live stream for, But it does all sorts of, YouTube just does a lot of weird stuff lately. They've been just doing a lot of weird things lately, and it really gets on my nerves. It really does. They did, even with the Soul Post Saturday that I did yesterday, Psycho, it still isn't sending out any notifications, so it's just kind of weird, though. So I'm going to wait about 5 minutes here for everyone to get in, and then we're going to start with Greg Doucette's video, because I want to get at least 2 of them in. Actually, I've been making espresso martinis. I got some of this nitro mixer stuff from Total Wine. It didn't really cost much. It's $12. And, there's I can actually make 8 espresso martinis. And if the espresso martini's quite expensive at a lot of restaurants. They charge between $12 and $16 for an espresso martini, which is ridiculous. I got my own barkeeper set. I can shake it up and stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you, my espresso martinis are even better than the ones that I got at other restaurants. Ever since I discovered the espresso martini, I love them, But I'm not going to pay $16 for them, I just am not, It's just kind of, it's ridiculous to pay that much for booze. I'm sure they're making a lot of money off of it because they're probably using the same mixer that I'm using. They're not brewing up any espresso or anything. They're just taking a can of that, adding some vodka, and that's it. And they're making a lot of money on the espresso martinis, but one thing is for sure, they're not going to make any money on the great ones martini mix. Nope, not at all. They ain't making money on my Bloody Marys. You know they charge $8 for a Bloody Mary nowadays? And then you have those unlimited mimosas. I mean, a mimosa is just sparkling wine and orange juice. They charge $20 for unlimited. How much mimosas can you even drink there anyway? You know, literally. No, I got a Nicaraguan cigar, but I'm saving that for tonight. Usually I watch PBS's World on Fire, or along with the game at 8 o'clock. Now, I got rid of my Amazon Fire Stick, and now I have an Android box, so I'm really enjoying that because things actually work from now on. But yeah, we're doing Nicaraguan tonight. I used to do Jaeger bombs back in the 90s and stuff. People don't really do Jaeger bombs anymore. It's kind of old school. Hey Andy, what's up? Lately, I've been using Purity vodka instead of I never used Grey Goose because I was using a lot of stuff from the Hilton Head Distillery, but you know, I found a much better vodka and gin at a better price, which is the Purity gin. So I'm gonna stick with the Purity gin, Purity vodka. I have Dante's Peak Scotch, which is a very smoky one. You know, so I mean, I still keep I still of course keep brandy in the decanter. You know, I'm not going to buy any more cognac. Cognac's gotten expensive. I'd rather just have the brandy. No, Absolute Vodka is what they serve at clubs, you know. I need a more absolute... Whenever I drink Absolute Vodka, that's when I really get a hangover. The stuff I have usually doesn't give me a hangover. It's only when I drink that cheap stuff. I try to avoid the cheap stuff. But in any event, let's get on with the show. I got Doucette going up here, so... I don't like Patron neither. There's a lot better tequilas out there. Much better tequilas. So let's see what we got here. Hold on just a minute, folks. No, I didn't want to do the... It's amazing what runs in the background of things. If I'm going to have anything, it's going to be Jack Daniels. Oh, well, I'll deal with that later. All right, let's go ahead and begin.
Essential amino acid ingestion stimulates MPS more than an equivalent amount of intact protein. This, for example, stimulates more muscle growth than real food, for example, steak, eggs, chicken.
You know, there's nothing that wakes me up better than a Greg Doucette video. But now he's up there preaching that EAAs are better than real food, so we'll see what he has to say.
chicken, beef, liver, you name it, more. Is that hard to understand? Breaking news on EAAs. Many people have doubted this in the past, but this just out. And remember, this is from a very credible source. The Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition. Wait till you see what they say about essential amino acids.
Gee, I wonder what they're going to say.
In the past, as you know, many bodybuilders have raved about the benefits of EAAs. Perhaps you've heard about BCAAs, and many people felt this is garbage. They don't do anything. It's essentially useless. It's just flavored water. But bodybuilders, because of their experiments, they've known this for years, that EAAs can in fact make a huge difference. And I know that right now you're doubting me. You're thinking this is just an ad. It's not just an ad. I'm talking about actual science.
By God, it's an ad, folks. It's an advertisement. I mean, Greg sells EAAs. You know, it is an advertisement. When someone says that something isn't an advertisement, guess what? It's an advertisement.
Science that EAAs can make a big difference in your ability to build muscle. And those of you out there, perhaps the Jeff Nippards, the BioLanes, are thinking, yeah, well, show me a mechanism of action. Show me that it actually works. How does it work? Well, it shows it. Mechanism of action. The importance of muscle protein turnover. And so what essential amino acids do is they signal the body to begin to build muscle. Remember what I said? There's 5 opportunities for muscle protein synthesis to occur. Well, when you consume essential amino acids, it signals the body to now let's get on it. Let's start to build muscle. Let's repair the muscle. Let's get it rebuilt right now. And so this can add on to and make it better, those 5 opportunities for muscle growth to occur. And not only that, the essential amino acids, they don't just signal the body to build muscle, they're actually involved in the process of building muscle. They are essentially the building blocks. Think of it, essential amino acids.
We already know that amino acids is the building blocks for building muscle. So tell us something new or so forth.
Acids. They are essential for building muscle. And so if you add EAAs, it can and will help to promote muscle growth. And people are going to say, yeah, but if I'm already getting enough protein, I eat plenty of meats, chickens, and so on, that it's not going to work. Well, the paper actually says this is not true. If you consume essential amino acids on top of your protein, that you're going to, in fact, build even more muscle. And so I'm going to go over the conclusions that this paper has made. Remember, conclusions. Repeated EAA-induced MPS stimulation.
I mean, here's the thing about this report. This report is pretty much meant for people who are, whenever they do the test, they do the test on people that are deficient in things like amino acids, that are deficient in things such as muscle growth. You know, they're not testing it on a 300-pound bodybuilder. They're testing it out on a 98-pound weakling because they want to display the maximum results itself. But actually, Psycho, muscle is more than just steak and heavy weights. There is a scientific approach to it there. But you shouldn't make too big of a deal out of EAAs here, you know. Because we've known for years that we've known for almost a century, ever since a scientist discovered that amino acids were the building block of muscle. Of protein, which in turn protein builds muscle. So
throughout the day does not diminish the anabolic effect of meal intake. And so what that means is if you have essential amino acids throughout the day, perhaps you're drinking at the gym, it's not going to diminish the effects of having your protein throughout the day. The protein that you've already eaten, perhaps it was in those 5 meals, it does not decrease those effects. And so all it can do is add to it. And so this can allow you to build even more muscle than if you just simply consume 5 meals throughout the day. Without exercise, remember, without exercise, without even doing anything, EAA supplementation can enhance functional outcomes in anabolic resistant population.
Of course it does. I mean, they can come up with that study again. They're not testing it on hardcore trainers. They're testing on 98-pound weaklings that do nothing but play video games all day. So that's how they would know without exercise. You know, they're not going to use this test on people that do exercise.
And so remember, these are anabolic resistant. Those are essentially what we term hard gainers. They have a hard time building muscle. And so think of it. You're not training in the gym. You have a hard time building muscle. You consume essential amino acids and it helps you to build muscle. And so another thing to keep in mind is it's very safe. You're not going to damage your kidneys. It's not dangerous. You're not going to overload on protein. And so if you add in EAAs on top of perhaps you're having 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight anyway, it's not going to put you at any risk for any damage whatsoever. And so don't think that taking EAAs is somehow going to cause you bodily harm. And so an important question.
Well, if it caused bodily harm, the FDA would have pulled it off the market, you know. I mean, come on, really?
How much do we need? How many grams of essential amino acids should you consume? And so this is great news. It's stating that even at only 1.5 to 3 grams at rest, it can stimulate greater muscle building potential. But it does in fact plateau after a certain amount, roughly 15 to 18 grams. And so if you were to consume somewhere between 1.5 and 18 grams of EAS per day, you're going to be somewhere at your ideal. And so if you consumed a scoop of Perilite, which I consume every single day, you're going to get 7 grams of essential amino acids.
Oh, but this isn't an advertisement, folks. This is not an advertisement. What do we see here? 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the video, we see an advertisement for Greg's Perilite. Nice.
Acids. More than enough to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. And if you consume 2 scoops, you'd be pretty much at the maximum benefit possible. And so if you want to get Perilite, of course you can. Use code Greg, 10% off. Click the link.
Oh, and while we're at it, we're going to also throw in those little pre-workout and the shred as well, even though they're not the subject of this video. I don't spend much on groceries, maybe $200 a month protein at this point.
In the description. The muscle protein stimulation by essential amino acids does not require non-essential amino acids. And so if you were, for example, only consume this, nothing else added onto it, it's enough to create muscle protein synthesis. And so only adding in essential amino acids, which is in this, you can get it from other things, of course, there are other companies that sell it, but if you just add that to what you're doing right now, it can be a benefit. Number 6, and this is a big one, you might be thinking, real food. I only want real food. This is garbage. Supplements aren't as good. It's actually the opposite.
Yeah, I like real food because that's what we've been eating for thousands of years since man went unga bunga, you know.
Free-form essential amino acid ingestion stimulates MPS more than an equivalent amount of intact protein. This, for example, stimulates more muscle growth than real food, for example, steak, eggs, chicken, beef, liver, you name it, more. Is that hard to understand? And this is on a gram per gram basis. And so if you consume 7 grams of essential amino acids in 1 scoop of this, you're going to get more muscle building than 7 grams of protein from chicken or steak, tuna, etc. Get it? Do you really get it now? I hope you do. 7.
I get that you're yelling a bunch, but if you want to do an experiment, Greg, just try to live on just nothing but Perilite for an entire month, as opposed to eating some actual food. Protein, I have oatmeal in the morning that I buy in bulk, and I do have rice with my meals as well, which I also buy in bulk. So the only thing I really buy is asparagus and meat, and that's pretty much it. That's all I need to buy. That's why my bill is only $200 a month generally. And I'm just doing a rough estimate. Sometimes it goes a little higher and then sometimes it's less.
From this, which
no, I'm not reviewing any viewer submissions. That's on Earl Grey Tuesday as well as the Midnight Run.
is still not real food is better than 7 from real food. Get it? EAA requirements rise in the face of calorie deficits. And so if you're on a cut, if you're dieting, if you're Sam Sulek cutting, if you're a bodybuilder, and you are eating fewer calories than last time, essential amino acids.
Yeah, we got to always bring up Sam Sulek. We got to bring up Sam Sulek along with every single Greg Doucette video that you watch. Sam Sulek is included free of charge.
Acids are even more important. And so when is the best time to take it if you have to take it at one time? When you're on a diet, when you're on a cut, when you're trying to get shredded for summer, beach, and so on. And so please consider essential amino acids if you're on a cut. And why is this? Well, think about it. During a calorie deficit, it's essential to meet whole body essential amino acid requirements to preserve anabolic sensitivity in skeletal muscle. And so if you're cutting, protein is even more paramount. If you're on a bulk, remember the calories from carbs and fats have a protein sparing effect. The more carbs and fats that you consume, the less your body's going to use proteins for energy. And so if you're bulking, protein requirements, they actually go down. Many people think, I'm on a bulk, I need to eat way more chicken, steak, and so on. It's not true. It's in fact the opposite. When you're on a cut, that is when you need the most protein. And so when are the best times to take essential amino acids? Well, for one, if you're one of those people that gets up and does fasted anything, you're one of those fasted type people, oh, I don't eat till lunch, I don't eat till supper, I don't eat for days on end. You should do it first thing in the morning. Whenever you're not consuming protein, it's even more important. And aside from that, sip it anytime you want, all day long.
Oh, yeah, it's important for people to buy Perry-Lite because that puts money in your pocket. I mean, I've checked the price of Perry-Lite, and believe me, there's a ton of companies that, sell it for a lot less than what Greg sells it for.
Long. You could have 1.5 to 3 grams here, 1.5 to 3 grams there. And so, for example, you could put Perry-Lite in your jug of water, mix it in, drink it throughout the day. Drink it whenever you want. That's the beauty of it. There's no special time. You don't have to do it at any given time. You can sip it all day long and reap its rewards. Hopefully you learned something. And remember, this is an educational video, but of course, at the same time, I want you to buy Perry-Lite. I'm giving you the science. I'm breaking it down. Hopefully you'll be interested in getting Perry-Lite. But remember, you can get EAAs from...
But yet, this is not an advertisement.
Any other company. I'm just trying to help. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Hopefully you liked the video. If you didn't like it, also watch one of those two blue.
How about we don't? So, despite the fact that Greg says that it's not an advertisement, it's an advertisement. The thing about EAAs is that he basically talked a little about nothing. We've already known that. We've already known that about amino acids. We already know that it's the building blocks. The only reason why Greg made this video is simply to sell his Pedialyte product. And of course he mentioned Sam Sulik because it picks up in the YouTube algorithm. So let's give him a round of applause. Well, that guy was going to explain it a little later or so forth. The reason why I was going to explain it later is because he was talking a little bit about George Floyd and stuff. And here's my thing. Derek Chauvin, yes, he did commit a crime or so forth. However, here's my thing, folks. And it's not a favorable opinion of things. Derek Chauvin had absolutely no chance in court, We always say that people are innocent until proven guilty and everyone has a right to a fair trial. Derek Chauvin did not have a fair trial. I mean, the president stepped in, Kamala Harris stepped in. Everybody was wanting to get him convicted and they were literally threatening the jury saying, well, if even Biden was essentially threatening the jury saying, well, if you get this wrong, we're going to do this, we're going to do that to you. I mean, they found him guilty of all 3 charges when you're only supposed to decide which charge are you supposed to be guilty of. Essentially put, he didn't get a fair trial. Yes, he committed a crime. I will say that, but he didn't get a fair trial. There's a such thing as jurisprudence here, And, of course, naturally, recently he got stabbed in prison and stuff like that. That's another entire issue to where it's just an example of these federal prisons. They're not taking good care of them. They're pretty much lax in security. They're not getting the proper funding whatsoever in order to maintain them, So that all has to be changed. But Derek, he didn't get a fair trial. You know what I mean? And honestly, the charge I would have given him would have been negligent homicide. You know what I mean? Or even involuntary manslaughter. Based on the fact that he was he was actually doing a civil duty, essentially, for starters. Not only that, there were drugs in George Floyd's system, which was also a contributing factor. But no, we can't mention that. We can't say nothing about that. Derek Chauvin should be in prison for what he did. He still committed a crime, but he didn't get But the fact of the matter remains is he didn't get a fair trial. He didn't have no chance whatsoever. He could have argued until the cows came home. I mean, look what happened to everyone else. The people that held the crowd back, the police officers that held the crowd back, they got freaking 5 years in prison. They got 5 years for holding back a crowd, That's how bad it was. None of them had any chance. They weren't scapegoats. They just, that's the way our justice system is. It's full of shit there, basically. But that was the issue I had. That literally is that's literally the issue. But let's see. Apparently Blaha said something. Someone had sent me a video, so let's I gotta see if it's posted or not. Here we go. I got it. All right, time for some Blaha stuff.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and thought I would sit down and do this video. Try to be as calm and rational as I can in a video of this nature. It's one of those cases where I'm just going to say it right up front. Everyone who associates and does business and is in the circle of this natural hypertrophy guy, which by the way is a fictional character, he's not even a real person, doesn't put his real name out there. This is a fake persona this guy puts forward on the internet. Hides his identity like a coward, right? Willing to sling mud at everybody else, but he hides who he is completely. Speaks volume.
Psycho, right now, Dave has so many awaiting guests, it would be pointless. Maybe I'll ask him in a couple of months, but it wouldn't be till next year.
About his ethics and bravery and strength. Everyone who associates with him business-wise, that would be you, Alexander Leonidas, talking to you, Alan Thrall, talking to you, Paris Butler, Bald Omni-Man,
naming off a lot of people there for, yeah. And that natural hypothesis, yeah, I can't pronounce stuff today. The NH guy, he is somewhat right. He doesn't put his information out, but so what? There's a lot of people on the internet that don't put out their information for whatever reason. That's their choice.
Talking to you, GVS, all you people who associate with this guy, look. This is a straightforward deal. It would be one thing if someone said, well, this is a person just discussing a topic without taking a side, but here's the problem. This is a side where there have already been accusations, right? There have been public accusations by other channels showing evidence of him having dog whistles towards not just racism, but literal Nazism. And being a neo-Nazi.
Really? That's that's a surprise coming out of Blaha's mouth here. So, as far as him accusing someone else of being a neo-Nazi.
People he associates and does business with have been pretty well caught doing that. All got swept under the rug. He ignored it. All these guys ignored it, and they started talking about power building instead. Okay, but here's your context. This is a person who has already been accused of not, this figurative, people sling that word around, but who has been accused of literally being part of that ideology. who, instead of denying it, because I mean, it's straightforward. People have tried to accuse me of that, and I can watch how easy this is. I denounce Nazism. It's evil. Okay? It is evil. I want nothing to do with it. See how easy that is? He's been accused of that, and instead he goes further and further and further into parading the fact, almost admitting that he accepts it. He just did that whole video about Nietzscheanism. Again, anyone who knows the history.
Well, it's possible that he's also trolling there. This guy is a prolific troll, so he may be just baiting some people in.
He understands that Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher, is where much of that ideology that Hitler started, or was a major part of growing, they pulled a lot of it from him.
No, that's not true at all. What are you talking about?
His philosophies. Okay, that was a central part of their core, and they combined it with a bunch of paganism and occultism. It's a very eclectic thing that they put together. Right? To be clear on that. The guy literally discussed in a video and put timestamps, rejecting tolerance, talking about tolerance being weakness. He literally discussed how he believes that there are inferior and superior people in society and that everyone's understood this forever. That's what he believes. He made that very clear. And again, he went and tagged a whole thing, tagged a timestamp where he discusses master morality versus slave morality. Like, that video alone is enough to say, okay, dude, you're basically just throwing it out there what you believe. Notice his comments and followers, they all filled in there. Tons of self-admitted white nationalists, neo-Nazis, everything came in supporting him in his comments, and he engaged them positively. Then, on Thanksgiving Day, he throws up a video where all his defenders are coming in saying, oh, well, he just took a neutral position on the whole topic of fascism and Nazism and all. He took a neutral stance. No, he didn't. Because there is no neutral stance on that.
Yeah, you're right. There is no neutral stance. You're either going around calling people Hajis, like you've done in the past there, Blaha, or you didn't call them Hajis,
Let's be very, very clear. We as a world fought a world war. It was called World War II, against this ideology to get rid of it. It was an evil ideology that massacred millions of people. It was an ideology started by mass murdering psychopaths. Okay? There is no sides. There is no neutral position.
That's not true. That is not even true at all. It wasn't exactly by psychopaths. It was just by a political organization that gained power by simply separating others from other people, breaking people up into groups, and basically making one group be jealous of another group. That's how that all happened. It had nothing to do with people being a psychopath. We lock up psychopaths. The way that Germany turned to Nazism was a slow process. It was done by a political group that, simply took power simply by dividing other people, dividing groups here, That's all that was. It had nothing to do, pretty much. I mean, they are psychopaths, but, that wasn't the cause of, Nazism to take over.
On that. We as a collective world got together and fought against this. Multiple nations.
Yes, multiple nations against multiple nations,
Pushed back and said no. It is an ideology that is accepted worldwide as evil and harmful and psychopathic. And it's not just because it's racist. It is because it took it to a crazy, psychopathic extreme that led to genocide. And this individual has the audacity to get up and pretend he's neutral on the position and puts literally Hitler in his thumbnail doing a salute. It's in his thumbnail. And the whole comment section.
Again, I think that's trolling. If you guys remember when I showed up on Off Topic Radio back in the early 2010, or it was around 2008, and that was Aaron Singerman and Carl Lenore's show. Their logo was a picture of Hitler with stars around his eyes. So, I mean, it does symbol Nazism. I mean, NH is definitely is initiating Nazi dog whistles, but at the same time, I think he's more or less trolling.
Hundreds and hundreds of people flooded in who he positively interacted with and positively engaged, who admitted they were fascists. Many of them admitted they were Nazis. Many of them admitted they were white nationalists. Okay, he positively engaged them. He put up a flag to say he was one of them. Now, people can say, well, I'm just here for the fitness advice and I don't care what people's personal beliefs are. Okay, but that's not how it works. I've had people quit my channel over thinking I have beliefs that I don't even have. It's not how it works.
Well, yes, that's how it works. And I mean, there is an entire internet record over a course of many years of some of your racist comments there. So, I mean, we can pull that up any day.
Problem is he is using his...
I mean, Blaha is up there acting as though everything that he said in the past didn't happen. That's a good thing about the internet. The internet never forgets about anything.
Channel and his fitness outreach to recruit people. This is what he was already being accused of. This is what other people were saying and I said. He is using his circle and outreach to literally recruit naive, disenfranchised young men who were incels and losers like him. Okay, it's a stepping stone into this. And now he just flew it right in everyone's faces, right there in the thumbnail, with Hitler doing a Nazi salute right after he made a whole video a week before telling everyone that he believes there are inferior and superior human beings. Okay? He is admitting that this is his ideology. He put up a flag to just say, everyone who believes in this, come flock to me, I'll lead you. I'm your leader.
Hey, Bean Smasher, what's up? Nope, this is just our general hour live stream on Sunday.
All right? That is exactly what this was. And I'm sorry, but every one of you who endorse him, Alan Thrall, I'm talking to you. Man of honor, aren't you required as a U.S. Marine Corps body bearer to maintain a person of being above reproach for the rest of your life or your...
Oh, please. What do you know about the military? The thing about it is he's not allowed to join any groups here. Listening to some guy on the internet with a thumbnail of Hitler, who's obviously trolling, it doesn't violate any standards. He has the right to watch whatever he wants on YouTube.
Stripped of that honor. You are shouting this person out and associating with him in a professional manner. You know what? Fuck you. Alan, fuck you. You don't have any honor. You have no integrity. You're associating with this. You are a piece of shit. Alexander Leonidas. You're doing business and collabing with this person and shouting him out while he's doing this. You are a piece of shit. Paris Butler.
Let me take a guess. He's going to call Paris Butler a piece of shit, too.
That's you bought on me, man. This is your circle. This is your crew right here. I don't want to hear anything about talking about discrimination against you. Your crew are literal neo-Nazis. I want to see you defend that. Your crew and the people that you fuck with would literally have you not exist. They could have their way. Okay? There's your context. GVS. This is your crew. Right? This is your noble natty crew right here. Are you cool with that? Wow.
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 This is the integrity of the fitness community. This is the...
Hey, what's up, Ninja? We're just, we got finished reviewing Doucette's video. Now we're finishing up reviewing Blaha's video.
Integrity of this noble natty crew. Okay. You are all making it very, very clear what you are about. I don't want to hear anything about honor or morals or ethics ever from any of you. Unless...
Oh, boy. I'll tell you one thing, folks. Blaha's really stretching it, you know. He's literally stretching it. Okay, he has a thumbnail in there of Hitler. Like I said before, when Off Topic Radio's old logo was a picture of Hitler with stars. It was just trolling there, you know. And reading some old philosophy scripts, I mean, Blaha's really twisting that around, you know. There's not any, I've not seen any evidence of it there. I don't think it's good for him to put up a picture of Hitler doing a Hitler salute. But at the same time, a lot of people like to be controversial, and they'll put this stuff up for trolling purposes, you know. And Blaha is really stretching it with the... He's not only stretching it, but given his past of racist comments towards others, given the fact that he's made very homophobic content towards others, you know, the Nazis didn't just persecute Jews. They went after the gays, too. You know, they went after the Negroes. The black folks, they went after every other person. So it wasn't just the Jews that were getting exterminated. You know, black people went in the ovens too, you know. You know, they threw homosexuals in the ovens too. So, you know, I mean, but you have made homophobic and racist remarks towards others, you know. So that's the pot calling the kettle black. So I'll be right back, folks. Gotta take a leak. So, folks, what we have essentially is just made up nonsense. I mean, you can't really sue for something like that, Protein, because it's just, as far as everything is concerned, that's just Blaha's opinion. I mean, but the truth of the matter is nobody listens to him anyway, you know, at this point. I mean, he has over 100,000 subscribers, but what good is it? What it doesn't do him any good. His subscriber list is just like Vegan Gains. It's for the most part, dropping, A lot of these media creators stuff is going to drop because I think the people are now changing to the point to where they're just tired of this type of stuff, He's made a really big stretch in calling them Nazis. I've not seen anything from this guy to specifically. He's quoted a couple of old philosophy books, and that's about it, And Blaha's acting like it's the center of Nazism when it has nothing to do with it whatsoever. The rise of Nazi Germany was just simply making people fear other groups and stuff, That's all it was. Separating Freemasons from blacks, separating other, cultures, the Jews from the pure Aryan white race and stuff like that, It had nothing to do with being a psychopath. It was carefully crafted and constructed, That's all that was. But folks, we got about 15 minutes left, so get your questions in. If you wish to put in a donation, you can do that as well, but we're going to close up shop shortly. Well, Protein, everyone uses YouTube to publicly slander others. It would be a waste of time to file a lawsuit against Blaha. But you can expect a response from the Natty crew. And when we get that response, we'll review that too. Oh yeah, we're going to do that in just a second. Well, since you mentioned it, let's go ahead and do it now. So Pole. That is true, but we're going after a new group of people. Like I said, the new Home Business King channel, where I'm going after new trolls, new mints. And it's going to get minty pretty soon, folks. So be sure you subscribe to the Home Business King, all right? We're taking the mints on the road, folks. That's what we're doing. Quick Pump, it was probably it was a real cheap microphone. You wouldn't get any money. You would just be wasting. You would be just wasting. And I mean, even if you didn't even get an attorney, just filing the paperwork, you would lose about $400 or $500. But yeah, with the new channel, we got new mints here. Look at me call this person a complete failure. He was always lying about pushing products on her. And like I said, it's all in that video. It doesn't matter if you were taught that by your trainers or not. That's not an excuse, we're all adults here. Whenever you're acting unethically, There's no excuse about it. So don't go blame your trainers. Don't go and blame Monet. Just blame yourself. You know what I mean? That's why the name of this title is, Are You Mad at Me or Are You Mad at Yourself here, okay? But, honestly, if you wish to have a discussion with me, then contact me, I have an email address, don't contact me like Scott did, and start trashing me from the get-go. Contact me. Talk with me, discuss my opinion, discuss what I think about certain things. If you wish to debate, ask me respectfully. That's plain and simple. That's the most important thing to do. But just don't be an internet bully, okay? Don't blame your own failures in life on somebody else. Don't project your failures in life onto anyone that you run into, okay? Just face it, you weren't a good business person. You lied to your associates, you pushed products on people, and you just recruited until the cows came home, and as a result, you got what you deserved, basically. Nothing personal. So, you got to get over your failures and move on with your life.
So that, folks, is a preview of the Home Business King channel. That's me going after a person. We're going to go after a whole bunch of people. Like I said, folks, new mints. Nothing like fresh new mints. And I will debate vegan gains again. No, I had to create that channel in order to respond to some people there, bro team. So I just got to lean with it, rock with it, That's why I created that channel for. Not only that, folks, you got to understand that even though my channel is monetized with the type of content that I run, I don't get paid for it, So I have to go and do something else as far as having a business channel is concerned. I just need to get it monetized first, which I should be able to do by the end of the year. But the good thing about the channel, Brotein, it gives me a platform to where I can debate other people. And believe me, it's going to get good, folks. It's going to get good. So just be sure to subscribe to the channel, okay? We'll also have a live stream. There's also a live stream as well on Wednesdays. It's usually about an hour or 2 hours long there, so. But enough of that, folks. If you got some questions to ask, go ahead and ask them now. We're closing out at 2 p.m. When's my next meal? Maybe in an hour or two. I don't really eat too much. I only really eat one meal on Sundays. Because usually when I have brunch, it has a lot of calories in it, so... And I'll just drink water for the rest of the day or have a little snack. I love water, Rocket Man. I'm a big water fan. I love water. I like nice, fresh water. I drink water all day. I love water. That's my favorite drink, is water. Not sink water, but good old Primo water. That's why I keep that Primo container. Do I make gumbo? No. I do sell a lot of this gumbo mix in my grocery store, but... Well, Primo is a type of water, Protein. For a 5-gallon jug, it's $6.99. And you have to have a water dispenser. But it's good stuff. I couldn't live without my water dispenser. No, I haven't spoke with Big Lenny in a while there, Rocket Man. What do I think about his old shack? I don't have a real opinion on it there. Big Lenny just needs to get organized and get his own things. Well, Andy, if you're going thirsty, I mean, it would be better to drink out of a... Usually you have to understand that running water is usually going to be cleaner than stagnant water. But if that's all you got to drink and you're about to die of thirst, then you better just take a sip. But what I would do, if it's stagnant water, you can filter that out and drink it. But river water is generally clean naturally, simply because it's running, and the rocks usually clean it off. River water that's rapidly rushing is going to be... It's not going to be entirely safe, but it's going to be safer than standing water. Rocket Man, I'm not sure what he should do. I really am not. Like, he just needs to get ultimately organized. I mean, even you can organize a shack, you know. I mean, you can mow the grass, you can clean around the house, you can repair things, you know. No. If a nuclear blast ever happened, you know, I wouldn't want to stick around for that. I'd just light up a cigar and just wait outside until I'm standing in front of the judgments here, so. I mean, think about it for a minute there, Psycho. Let's say you survived the nuclear blast. I mean, you got radiation poisoning. You're trapped underground. You have no air. With nuclear winter, you know, the place is going to be frozen for the next 100, 200 years. So you'll either freeze to death or you'll get radiation poisoning. It's just going to be bad. Why stick around for that shit, you know? Just going to light me up a cigar and just head outside and be like, you know? We all got to go one day anyway, so, you know. I mean, I try not to think about dying. Nobody won't want to die or anything like that, but, you know, it's gonna happen someday, you know. I don't play any video games right now. I did hook up the new Android box to my TV set. So I will be playing some games pretty soon on it, so. I'd have a nice martini, Andy. Hey, Raul, you're getting here pretty late. I'm about to shut down the live stream in like 2 minutes. I wouldn't, Rocket Man. I'll go out like a professional. I'll go out like a gentleman. I won't lose my scruples or anything. I'll do it classy, you know. I mean, there's no telling how we're gonna leave the world, but if I had to choose, I'm gonna leave classy, you know. But folks, that is the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me for the Sunday Hangover. You guys have a good Sunday. All right? Make the best of it. It is the weekend after all. I'm sorry to hear about that, Raul. Tough times don't always last, but tough people do. But again, folks, I'm signing off, and as always, peace and soul.